Hello, good morning my dear student. Welcome to our Gyan Jyoti online classes. So today the chapter name is what women, caste and reforms. Okay, women, caste and reforms. In this chapter we'll discuss about the condition of women. Okay, in ancient time, in middle period. Okay. Then about the caste system and reforms means changes. Okay, what was the condition of women during early period? Then what was the caste system and how did the condition of women and the caste system was changed? Okay, some of the educationalists of Indian society, some of the social reformer like Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, Swami Dayanand Saraswati. Okay, you can say Vivekanand, Swami Vivekanand. Okay, Ramakrishna Paramhans. Okay, these are the, you can say, these were the some Indian scholars or social reformer. They were, you can say, they gave efforts towards the upliftment of what women, towards the development, the condition of development of women, towards what abolish tried. They were also tried to abolish caste system in India, but what you can say nowadays the caste system is running out through our society and through the Indian scholars, through the social reformer of Indian society. Okay, many changes you can say were occurred our Indian society, in our Indian society, and also the condition of women, or you can say there were some changes in the condition of women also. Okay, before you can say before social reformer, what you can say activated in Indian society. Okay, the condition of Indian women you can say was very rose, but after what they gave efforts towards the development of what women, towards the you can say upliftment for the women, then the women were able to gain some special privileges and facility in Indian society. So basically in this chapter we will discuss about the condition of women, okay, about the caste system and about the reforms, or you can say the changes which were occurred in our Indian society, okay, in the field of caste, or you can say in the condition of women. Okay, so let's start the chapter that social inequalities have prevailed throughout the world. Yes, it is true that social inequalities has prevailed throughout the world. Okay, however, we are politically equal. Okay, but what socially or economically, okay, socially or you can say economically, what we all are unequal. So reforms long struggle against this inequality. Okay, so the reforms, or you can say one type of changes were occurred or struggle against these inequalities. Indian society suffered from certain India specific social evils. Social evils like what you can say sati pratha. Okay, further system, got it? So there are many social evils practiced in our Indian society. Okay, and more prominent among these evils were related to women. Okay, look at this. You can say social evil like sati pratha and what further system. This is also related to women. Okay, so many social evils were related to women society and also the caste system. Moreover, the British in India were inclined to impose Western ideas and colonial ideas of superiority. Okay, they were the Britishers. They were imposed the you can say Western education system in India. but after that what the caste system you can say is always what you can say a bad or a social evil for us till now. Okay, then educated Indians initiated a number of movements to bring about social cultural changes in the Indian society and a change in the attitude of the people and in the policies of the government. Okay, to you can say to rescue the women society from this social evils, many educated Indians or you can say many social reformers, they were tried to or they were give you can say efforts towards the development of women, and also you can say took up the barriers of caste system from Indian society. Okay, then many reformers emerged. The reformers of the 19th century set the agenda and the work started by them continued at a quick pace. So this is about 19th century. Okay, middle you can say middle age also. So during 19th century the condition of women was you can say very poor or very extreme, and also the caste system is one of the headache was one of the headache of Indian society. It is feel also nowadays. Okay, so in 19th century the caste system, then the you can say the parda system, sati pratha, these were the social evils practiced in Indian society, and to you can say to abolish or to destroy these social evils. Okay, the British government imposed or the British government regulated the Western education system on in Indian society. Many educated Indians or you can say social reformer, they were gave efforts toward the upliftment of you can say upliftment of women, or you can say you can make many changes in the condition of women, and also what tried to you can say took up the barriers or obstacles obstacles related to caste system in India. Okay, so let's discuss about socio-religious practices in the 19th century Indian society. Okay, what type of what social and religious practices are you can say were done in 19th century in Indian society, and what was the you can say position of women in Indian society. So the 19th century Indian society was marked by sharp inequalities, poverty and illiteracy, and above all by highly inhuman and oppressive practices and rituals. Among these, the women suffered due to prevalence of gender inequality. Mainly what? Gender inequality. Gender inequality and others on account of caste or birth-based inequalities or caste inequality you can see. This type of social evils are practiced in Indian society of 19th century. So the position of women, by the time the British established their power, the condition of women in India was extremely poor or very bad you can say. On the whole, women were treated like second-class human beings. The evil practices of sati, child marriage, female infanticide, bride price, polygamy, and parda system made their lives miserable. Okay, and these were you can say these were the social evil related to women category women society, like sati pratha, children marriage or child marriage, female infanticide or you can say female foeticide, then bride price, polygamy means one husband and many wives. Okay, and parda system, their life miserable. The doors of education had been shut to them, or the women didn't allow to get education at that time. Okay, so the condition of women was very much poor or extremely poor. They were suffered a lot. Women had no economic status. A Hindu woman was not entitled to inherit any property. She was almost completely dependent upon men. There was no equality between men and women. So there was no equality between man and woman in you can say in property matter also. There was you can say no facilities, there was you can say no entitled to inherit any property. Okay, so she was almost completely dependent upon man. Okay, so this was the condition or miserable condition of women during 19th century in Indian society. Then about the caste system, by the 19th century the caste system had become very rigid. The system of caste discriminated against human beings on the basis of birth. Caste determined the destiny of a person. It dictated the social environment, rituals, food habits, education, marriage, and vocation of a person. Nowadays also the person who are living in rural areas or village areas, they face this caste discrimination problem. Okay, we can easily find out the caste system in village areas. Okay, it also you can say happen in urban areas, but the educated people, they were easily cover the caste system by their education. But it also what occupies you can say occupies in urban areas also, occupies the urban area also. But in rural areas we can easily find out the caste system and the people who are suffer by caste system. So in the 19th century, okay, the people of you can say Indian society or lower caste, they were faced many difficulties throughout the caste system. The practices of treating certain person as untouchables was undoubtedly inhuman. In South India, the mere sight, touch or shadow of an untouchable was considered highly polluting. They were not allowed to draw water from the common wells and tanks of the upper caste. Okay, means what type of inhuman you can say practices what happened in Indian society during 19th century. Okay, the people they belong from what lower caste, they didn't have any right to you can say what drink water from public well. Okay, so means the lower caste people are they were considered as untouchables, and the high class people what exploited the what lower caste people during 19th century. So they were not allowed to draw water from the common wells and tanks of the upper caste. Their entry into temples was prohibited. In schools, their children could not sit with upper caste children. Okay, so in that way what the upper class people you can say treated the lower class people. Okay, which was you can say very dangerous for Indian society, and a huge you can say difference what developed among the people of India during 19th century by the caste system. Then the British adopted a dual policy towards the untouchables. They tried to segregate the untouchables from upper caste Hindus. At the same time, they were made target of missionary activities. Okay, so the Britishers planned you can say planned a different policy. Okay, they were tried to you can say they were tried to divide what Indian society. That's why they found what many Christian missionaries, and they were you can say converted the untouchables people into Christian religion. Okay, and in that case you can say they were succeed also. Many untouchables people, okay, they were exploited by high upper class people of India, and they were you can say admitted the Christian religion and converted to Christian religion through the Christian missionaries. Okay, which was a plan of British government. So in view of prevailing inequalities, religious practices and inhuman attitude, social reform movement during the 19th and 20th century acquired added importance. The issues were quite complicated. the reforms had to raise awareness about prevalent social practices linked with religions. So, the inhuman attitude social reform movements during the 19th and 20th century acquired added importance. The issue were quite complicated. The reformers had to raise awareness about prevalent social practices linked with religions. So the social reformer, they were raised their head. Okay, they were against the social evils. They were against the you can say against the social evils like sati pratha, then purda system, child marriage. They were also against the matter related to religions. Okay. The struggle against gender-based discriminations. Okay, how did the Indian reformer, they were started struggle against what? Gender-based discrimination among male and female. So women have been discriminated against since ancient times simply because they are women. Men introduced many such practices and values which were aimed at keeping the woman within the four walls of the house and under their control. Okay, so from the you can say from the beginning, Indian society is always known as the male-centered society. Okay, but the time is always changing. Okay, means nowadays we cannot say that what Indian society is only male-centered society. Okay, everyone is equal. You can say equal before law. Okay, but in 19th century, what the Indian society was totally male-centered society. Okay, the man introduced many such practices or activity and values which were aimed at keeping the woman within the four walls as a prisoner, you can say, of the house and under their control. Okay, so the impact of Western education brought about, you can say, some changes in the thinking of the people during the 19th and 20th century. Social reformers, humanists, and some British administrators made sincere efforts to improve the condition of women. Consequently, some laws were enacted. So the Western education brought many changes, okay, in the condition of women's society. Okay, many social reformer, educationalists, they were raised their voice against this gender discrimination, and by the Western education system, the educated Indians, they were raised their voice against what? Gender discriminations, and by their voice, what many policies or many laws, you can say, were formed or enacted to, you can say, to implement, you can say, to development for the position of women. Okay. So some laws were enacted by the British government, and these laws were also supported by Indian reformers. That's why many laws were implemented, or you can say executed, by what you can say against the social evils like sati pratha, then purda system, child marriage. Okay, so change through laws. Let's discuss about some laws. This the practice of sati, law against sati. The practice of sati was rampant in places such as Bengal, Bihar, and Uttar Pradesh. Raja Ram Mohan Roy made sincere efforts to eradicate this practice. Who? Raja Ram Mohan. Raja Ram Mohan Roy made sincere efforts to abolish this practice. The first law was enacted against the practice of sati, by which Lord Amherst imposed illegal ban on burning of, you can say, widows. Lord William Bentinck passed the law against sati in 1829. Okay, law was passed by William Bentinck against sati pratha. but the orthodox people opposed it. Okay. The isolated instances of sati have been reported from states like Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh till recent past. Okay, so a law against sati was passed by William Bentinck in 1829, but Indian people or the people who were believed in what social evils like sati pratha, they were against of what the law enacted by William Bentinck in 1829. Okay, after that what law against female infanticide, the practice of killing the girl child prevailed in northern parts of India. 4 laws were enacted against the practice in 1795 1802, then 1804 and 1807. Law against what? Female infanticide. So 4 laws were implemented against what you can say the killing of the girl child in 1795, 1802, 1804 and 1807. But legal measures could not eradicate this practice. However, the practice slowly became less widespread through education and public opinion, yet the practice is fairly widespread even today. Okay. So many laws are also you can say implemented by the government against the you can say in favor of widow remarriage. During ancient time, widow remarriage was practiced, but gradually the custom was banned by society. Social reformers made efforts to popularize widow remarriage. Raja Ram Mohan Roy and Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar were prominent among them. So in the field of widow remarriage, Raja Ram Mohan Roy and Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, you can say both were the prominent social reformer of Indian society. Okay, you can say they made efforts towards or popularized to widow remarriage system in India. They carried out many large-scale campaigns on the issue. On 13 July 1856, the Widow Remarriage Act was passed. Okay, when 13th July 1856, widow remarriage. Widow remarriage was passed. Then Veerasalingam in Andhra Pradesh, Mahadev Govind Ranade and Professor D.K. Karve in Maharashtra carried widow remarriage campaign forward. Still, the law did not prove to be very effective. It was only with the spread of social awakening in the 20th century that it began to gain momentum. That unfortunately, the widow remarriage has as yet not been fully accepted by our society nowadays also. Okay. Then some laws are also you can say enacted by the government against the Child Marriage Act. Keshav Chandra Sen made the earliest effort to curtail child marriage. In 1872, the rules of Brahman Vivah were laid down. In 1891, the minimum marriageable age for girls was raised from only 10 years to 12 years. So after independence, the age of consent was further revised. It stands at 18 years for girls and 21 years for boys. Still, the practice of child marriage continues in our society. Okay, you can say it is a very sorrowful thing that still the child marriage, you can say, act is, you can say, practiced in our society. So economic independence, that Raja Ram Mohan Roy made efforts to ensure economic independence to women, because in 19th century there was no economic, you can say, equality or independence for women. So Raja Ram Mohan Roy what made efforts to ensure economic independence to women, but Hindu women could acquire the right to inheritance only after independence. Okay, so the education system of, you can say, the women was also very much poor during 19th century. Okay, the means some rich class people, okay, they were only allowed their girls or women to what, gain education. Okay, but the poor class people or the, you can say, lower class people, they didn't any, you can say, they didn't what, allowed to schools. Okay, or they didn't get any education facilities. So education was considered a powerful weapon for raising the status of women. Social reformers, educationalists and women's organizations made attempts to provide education to women. Okay, so you can say nowadays what, the Indian society is a balanced society. Both men and women what, get education. Many educational programs are, you can say, implemented by Indian government to, you can say, to educated what, both male and female in Indian society. Okay, so in 19th century there were no education facilities for women, but many social reformers like Raja Ram Mohan Roy and Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, they were made efforts towards the education facility to women. Okay, and many schemes nowadays also what, in modern period, many schemes you can say are implemented by government to provide education facilities to both men and women, both rich class and both what, you can say, poor class people. Okay, then struggle against the caste system. The caste system was the second most important social reform. The introduction of a new system of education, rule of law, development of railways, urbanizations, etc. reduced the social distance between the untouchables and caste Hindus. In the meantime, you can say a new social consciousness also dawned among Indians. Okay, so you can say the social reformer, the educationalists, the Indian scholars, okay, by the Western educations, okay, they, you can say, the got knowledge about society, and you can say the caste system which was practiced in Indian society in 19th century. The, you can say, the people, the untouchables people, they were in extreme conditions. Okay, that's why the social reformer, they were struggle against the caste system, or you can say against the untouchability. Okay, abolition of untouchability was a major issue of 19th century. Indian reforms in Maharashtra, Mahadev Govind Ranade founded the Indian National Social Conference, or you can say Bharatiya Rashtriya Samajik Sammelan in 1887. Remember this thing, okay, that in Maharashtra, Mahadev Govind Ranade founded Indian National Social Conference or Bharatiya Rashtriya Samajik Sammelan in 1887 for the purpose of abolishing untouchability. In 1903, a social welfare society or Samaj Sudhar Sabha was established in Bombay. Ani Besant started an organization in Madras for the same purpose. Mahatma Gandhi made the removal of untouchability a part of his constructive program. Okay, so many Indian educationalists gave efforts, you can say, against the untouchability, against the caste system which was practiced in Indian society during 19th century, like Mahatma Gandhi, Mahadev Komi, Nanaji, Annie Besant. Okay, they were made efforts toward the upliftment of, you can say, towards the, you can say, against the untouchability. Okay, then untouchables, the untouchable themselves stood up against their oppression. Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar himself, from the untouchable Mahar caste, dedicated his entire life to the welfare of untouchables. In you can say in Bombay, he formed a Bahishkrit Hitkarini Sabha in 1929. Okay, who Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar, he was also belong from what? Untouchables. You can say he was also belong from a lower caste, and he, you can say, his entire life dedicated, you can say, towards the development of lower class people. So what you can say, in Bombay he formed a Bahishkrit Hitkarini Sabha in 1924 for this purpose. Later he organized the Akhil Bharatiya Dalit Varg Sabha to fight against caste oppression. Okay, in Maharashtra again, Jyotiba Phule founded the you can say Satya Sodhak Samaj. In Kerala, Sri Narayana Guru established the Sri Narayana Dharma Pratipalana Yogam. Such non-Brahminical organizations were established in other parts of India also. Okay, to abolish the caste system against untouchables, many Indian scholars, they were made efforts. Okay, to, you can say, to remove the, you can say, caste barriers in Indian society. Okay, in different parts of India, okay, they were you can say activated against the untouchable process. Got it? The British took no effective step to remove the stigma of untouchability. The most effective measures were what? Enshrined in the Constitution of India. The Constitution banned untouchability. It established the right to equality as a fundamental right. However, many evil practices related to caste system still exist. Only greater awareness can uproot this evil completely. Okay, so many, you can say, many Indian scholars, they were what, you can say, against untouchability. However, in what the Indian Constitution, what you can say, in the Indian Constitution totally banned untouchability process which was practiced in India. But you can say, but this time, what, in rural areas, okay, this system is also practiced by the people. But according to the Indian Constitution, what, every people, okay, every Indian citizens, they all are equal before law. Okay, so this is all about today's class. Okay, and in our next class we will discuss about the rest of the chapter, rest portion of this chapter. Okay, thank you. Have a nice day.